Henry, chance, goal! Salah, oh wow! Oh! Aguero! And Ronaldo! What a goal by Cristiano Ronaldo!
However, we do have another big thing to cover. And in terms of this now, we're going to cover, let's say, those European positions. So top four, obviously champions number one, second, third, fourth, Champions League. Then we've got Europa League, and then we've also got the Europa Conference League. Now, in terms of that top of the table, right now we're sitting Chelsea first, Liverpool second, Man City third, Man U fourth. And then we've got teams like West Ham who are playing in Europe, but then Brighton, Brentford, and Arsenal, and Everton who aren't. So then, just focusing on that, on those teams that we aren't expecting to get Champions League football, what do we think for West Ham and the season that comes, or that the season that is to be finished, because they are playing Europe?
Yeah, there's no doubt when you're playing European football, it's a bit of a burden on clubs that don't have the squad depth of the Chelsea Cities and Liverpools. So I think I really like West Ham as a side. They've been brilliant to start this season, but now that the Europa League schedule's kicked in, and the thing with Europa League, it's even tougher than Champions League. You're playing Thursday nights in Europe, and you got to travel to sometimes far ends of Eastern Europe. So I think it's going to be tough for West Ham. When I look at those teams, I think Brighton so far have impressed me immensely. I'll be very surprised if they don't play any form of European football, even if it's a conference league. I think they'll probably be in and around there. It's for me, Arsenal, if they don't make the Europa League, then it's a fail. It's a massive fail.
Yeah.
They have to make the Europa League, I think, because you're playing no European football and you just got to focus on one game a week. Arteta's got a pretty decent squad at his disposal. You got to make the Europa League. Tottenham, they've got this Conference League, which is probably more a burden than it is everything else. But I guess they can play their reserves, their young players. Everton are Everton. I like to think they're going to make something happen, but they just seem to always fall off by the time next year gets around. I don't know. The top four is the top four, though. You can't touch that.
I'm gonna put forward something there. Look at Man United, for example. I think the top three is pretty set. I think that Man City
United could fall out.
I think United could fall out. I think that if they don't pick up form and Ole keeps his job, I mean, let's hope he keeps his job. So they could fall out. I feel like I mentioned this last week on our episode. I said that if Arsenal can keep the team together, if they can keep playing the way they played against Tottenham, for example, 2 out of every 4 weeks, they could put something together for a fourth spot or fifth spot even. Like, I don't think we're that far off, especially with the team we're building right now. We are maybe 1 or 2 players off, maybe a holding midfielder and a striker away, but we don't play Europe. For example, we don't have to travel to Bulgaria midweek to go play in the Conference League, or having to go to Yugoslavia to go play in the Europa League. So it's just a lot easier for teams like Arsenal to pinch a place here and there, because you can play your best side every week. Whereas Man United, who generally have been dropping out of the Champions League to play Europa League, to go deep into that competition just to lose it. So they go deep into competitions, only having to tie their squad out longer in the season, not to get anything out of it. So I feel like there's a good chance that an Arsenal, maybe even a Brighton, a West Ham could pick up something.
Yeah. I think Arsenal will. I think they can. Look, my tip at the start of the season was that Liverpool would miss the 4. That was my call at the start of the season.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. And I've swallowed my words a little bit, because they've started okay, but even now, it's so close. And you mentioned before, Liverpool, they haven't looked super convincing at home, which is usually their fortress.
Yeah.
They dropped points against Chelsea. They could have lost that game. They dropped points against City. They could have lost that game. Look, I don't think they're going to miss the top 4, but that was my call at the start of the year, because I could see them slowly losing that shine that they had once, and then also seeing that schedule with the African Cup of Nations. I thought that's gonna destroy them in the middle of the year. And you saw how far they fell when Van Dijk got injured. One injury. and the team struggled. Look, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not putting any thoughts in your mind. I don't think that's going to happen. But that was my outrageous call at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Hey, Pickford, are you hearing this? No, I don't wish injury upon anyone, but you'd probably hate who I tipped to finish outside of the top 4 this season.
Chelsea, really?
Yeah, I thought that
Wow.
they were on a honeymoon period. I didn't think the Champions League win was that convincing, to be honest. I felt like they got lucky, even though I did actually tip the winner of Atletico Chelsea to win it. I didn't think that their run towards the end of the season was convincing, given their Premier League finish. They almost finished outside the top 4. They stumbled their way into the Champions League final and then beat City on the counter. So I felt that, okay, Chelsea, once their honeymoon period ends, Tuchel's going to sort of have his Lampard's like moment and just settle down into one level. But they surprised me. They're on top of the table and we've moved forward. But
would you say, looking at that top 4, would you say that if you had to pick, because I think things have changed in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
If you had to pick one team that you were certain were going to be in and amongst the title race, is it City?
It's City. 4
Definitely.
points out of 6. So City, Chelsea, and Liverpool have all played each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 teams have picked up 2 points. One, not even. I think
No.
Chelsea's picked up a point. City's
Yeah.
picked up 2. City's picked up 4.
Yeah.
And they're probably missing the most important link to that team, which is a striker.
Yeah,
What does that tell you? If they pick up a striker, God help the rest of the league, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to beat them at that point, because you got De Bruyne, Foden, Grealish, Mahrez, Sterling, Bernardo Silva, all pinging balls into one striker.
Yeah.
That's unmatched.
I just find it ironic that, like, considering what we just said, out of those 3 teams playing each other games in, games out in the first 7 weeks, Chelsea in first place, but 1 out of 6 points. Claudio, in terms of that little stat there, are you a bit worried as a Chelsea fan or no?
I wouldn't say worried yet, because for me, the Liverpool game is a write-off, because I thought first 45 minutes, I was surprised we went 2 or 3 up. I thought we played very, very well. I thought we were doing everything right against Liverpool at Anfield. The amount of times I've seen us go to Anfield and struggle because it's such a hard place to play. I thought we went to Liverpool, we took the game to them, we dominated the game, and the red card changed the game. So I don't read into that one. City, we got completely outplayed. City, we got completely figured out, and that was tough to watch. But, you know, considering since Tuchel arrived, we beat City 3 times straight in 3 different competitions.
Yes.
You can't get too greedy. So at the moment, I wouldn't say I'm worried. I'm not worried.
Okay,
but
okay.
at the same time, City's the team to beat, as Abdul said.
Yeah, right now, because however, out of that top 3, they're third, but somehow everyone's still expecting them just to climb up, and it just shows that game week 1, that loss to Spurs, and how much it just sort of like played a part. Because then since then they kept clean sheets up until they played Liverpool, and then no one really expects both Liverpool and City to be conceding 2 goals, and then that happened that game. So a bit very, very interesting points there. In terms of the rest of that little top 4, Man U, what I've got down here is their table position. Do you think that it's sort of they're in and around that area, or that they're sort of just lucky to be there?
I think it was, I forgot who said it. It was one of the after the City Liverpool game, listening to Opta Sport, one of the pundits on there, he was saying that they're a level below the top 3, but a level above, or 2 levels above everyone else below them, and they're kind of getting shown that at the moment, because when they're coming up against teams like West Ham and Everton and Aston Villa, and they're coming up to actually play a good game, they're struggling to beat these teams. But when Manchester United are on form and at their best, they're hard to beat. It's sort of, like I said, I feel like it's relying on individual performances. And when these individuals aren't standing up and having good games, the team doesn't gel the way it should. And I feel like if they're going to keep going like that this season, they could get knocked out of that top 4. And if a team like Arsenal, or even, God forbid, Spurs, were to put some form together and make the top 4, it's likely. It could happen. But then again, you got Ronaldo up front. I mean, how far can you get with Ronaldo?
So my next point that I had written down was: is he enough for the club? Is he enough of a signing to get them the titles?
Oof, I don't know about titles, but I think he's definitely enough to keep him in the top four.
Yep.
Just he demands excellence, and he'll get the best out of everyone else around him. Plus, I think he's a freak, man. He's a freak of nature. I don't think he needed to be rested. I don't know, but I think they'll learn their lesson there. I saw it with Juventus. He's getting on with Juventus, and you think, okay, maybe they're going to rest him here. Maybe they're going to leave him out. He starts again. And he scores again every time. He's willing to play 90 minutes several times a week. I think once they figure out how to use him, just keep him up front, leave him as a target man. I do think United are going to do well this season. Do I think they're going to win titles under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Probably not. But I do think they're going to finish in the top four because Ronaldo, he has to make it happen.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, it will be crazy. All the meme pages as well, all the whole debate, Messi, Ronaldo, it will definitely that will definitely blow up. And Ronaldo, as much as I don't want to praise too much on Man United, but no, like he is a good signing. He's a great striker. But then I have heard a few people say that he's still playing at compared to how he was at Real Madrid and then Man United beforehand. Can you expect the same from him this season? Because he's 36, 37? Fairly older.
I wouldn't say the same, but I watch a lot of Serie A as well. And if you look at what Ibrahimovic brought to AC Milan when he came back in January, and the first 6 months, he notched in for some goals here and there, but then you saw the effect last year that he had on the rest of the players, the way they started to play around him. I think Ibrahimovic doesn't get the credit he deserves. Everyone sees him as this, egotistic, cocky kind of character, but I think he lifts a lot of the players around him. Some of the words I've heard him say whenever he's asked about national teams or about other transfers, he really sticks by his players. And when I look at Milan now, Rafael Leao, Rebic, like these guys have just come out of their skin since Ibra's arrived. He's been injured for a while, and they're playing very well without him. I think Ronaldo's going to have that effect on the players around him at United. I'm not a United fan, but you got to respect greatness, and I think he's going to have that effect. You're a player like Mason Greenwood. You grew up watching this guy, and now you get to learn off him every day at training. They already said that since he arrived, players aren't touching junk food.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So I think he's going to have that effect, and he'll influence a team. To answer your question, he'll influence in different ways. It might not be with 40, 50 goals like it was at Real Madrid, but I think he's going to influence his team massively. They've got characters in there now. Ronaldo, Cavani, Varane. These are guys that have won it all. So, very interested to see how that develops. It's funny that these players I just mentioned have won far more than their manager. So that's where it comes in, why everyone's thinking it's time for a huge world-class manager to walk in and be able to control these massive egos.
Yeah, agreed. And I feel that the scary part about Ronaldo is he's 36, but he plays like he's 25. Like he's still got a work rate, like the shooting ability. He's able to just get into places and put himself in positions that other strikers, even above average strikers, can't do. Like people call him a tapping merchant. It's not a tapping merchant. That guy is putting himself in a position because he knows the ball is going to end up there. Like he's 3 steps ahead of the defender he's left behind. So I feel like he could do well, but I also feel like him being there, and if results don't go their way, it could put Ole at threat because, again, I think he's a bigger personality than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ever was. Who knows? He could be in the coaching box next season, and I wouldn't be surprised.
No, that's a big call there. Going straight into it. last time we saw players go straight into management. We saw Frank Lampard go out 1 year and then come to Chelsea and then only go a few months there. So, I mean, interesting point there.
I mean, we've seen him stand next to him when he's being subbed off. So, and he's bossing the players around. So,
that's true.
Never say never. Just
bring back the player managers. Remember when they were a thing? Player manager. We're talking about it in the office today. Yeah, Chelsea at one stage had Ruud Gullit and then Gianluca Vialli, and these guys could just sub themselves on if things were going wrong. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, you know what? It happens in the all age over 45s in the all age on the weekends.
Hey, you're forgetting the best player manager of all, Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Oh yeah.
True.
So I think finally, in terms, I've just got a couple points here for Liverpool and how the table will play out. Now, you guys probably know my answers to it, but I want to put it to you guys. In terms of playing the Champions League and Premier League, do they have enough quality? Do you guys think that they have enough quality in depth to really, really compete for the title?
I think they've got enough quality in depth, as we call it, to compete for one and not the other. I think that their squad doesn't match the levels of Man City and Chelsea. In the sense of Man City can take off Bernardo Silva, bring on Riyad Mahrez, can take off Phil Foden, bring on Jack Grealish, take off Jack Grealish, bring on Raheem Sterling. And I still haven't even gone into the strikers yet. So Liverpool are limited with their options, despite their 11 possibly being the strongest 11 in the league.
That's a debate there, yeah, because people are rating Man City's second squad as what the top four, but
put it into perspective. Alisson's one of the best keepers in the world. Van Dijk's arguably the best centre back in the world. You've got two fullbacks that have changed the game in Trent and Robbo. You've got three options to partner Van Dijk, who possibly all three bring three different things. Then you go into the midfield. Fabinho's. I think Kante is a box to box. I don't think Kante is a CDM, so I could say that Fabinho is possibly the best CDM in the league. So
he's going up there.
And you go up front, Sadio Mane, one of the better left wingers in the league, and Salah's arguably the best player in the league right now. So, and you have one of the strongest 11s in the league, but in terms of the squads, completely disagree. I think that you could win one or the other. I don't think you could go deep into both. As we saw both times, you won one or the other. Yep. You won the league, you fell out of Europe. You won the Champions League. You didn't win the league. So
that's harsh. They lost the league by 1 point
that season. Yeah, that's
who knows if you fell out of Europe maybe around earlier.
But the thing is, that was the season that John Stone, you mentioned before, John Stones cleared it off the line, and it was 13 millimeters or whatever it was.
Could be a sign of the times again, But I saw you react to that Kante comment. I need your thoughts on that.
No, I love Kante. For me, he's unfortunately his body's breaking down. I think slowly because of just years of running more than any other player.
Oh, definitely.
But as far as that position goes, Fabinho is a good player. But as far as that position goes, I think Kante does it better than anyone in world football. He showed it in the Champions League last year. Man of the match against Atletico, man of the match home and away against Real Madrid, and then again in the final against City. So I think he's just struggling to play that many games. I think that's the biggest thing with Kante, and what Chelsea we have to manage him a little bit better because he's getting too many soft tissue injuries. And I think we've just got to manage him, keep him for the games where we absolutely need him, because he's a game changer.
He is. And it's crazy to think, because if you play a full Champions League season, I think that's 13 games, but then you're also playing 38 games. And then mind you, the players in the top squads are also playing in the international break. And then they've also got, if they want to win the domestic cups, like the League Cup and the FA Cup, then they're playing more games. But so these guys are playing, averaging 60, 70 games a season. And then you got players like the Liverpool, Mane and Salah, who that in the African Cup of Nations, that's how that would 10 games, 9-10 games if they do go all the way.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of games.
I mean, look, if you're gonna overuse him, we'll happily take him at Arsenal. We kind of need a replacement. I mean,
no, we just give you our dead wood, man. We give you David Luiz, we give you Willian. Give you these players.
Hold on. Willian's an exception, but we actually won a trophy and beat you guys with David Luiz. So, hey, his signing actually won us a trophy. So, you can't say that one. But yeah, other than that, you took Giroud, you took our Deadwood.
Hey, I love Giroud, man. I thought he was great for us. Don't forget the bicycle kick he scored against Atletico Madrid, which is a big reason why we went on to win the Champions League.
Yes.
I mean,
it was a good trade. Nice doing business with you.
I mean, hey, if you want to trade managers, that's a different story. So we'll happily take Tuchel. Look, at the end of the day, I think Man City's got the league. That's a big call from now, but I think Man City might just pip. I think Chelsea ahead of Liverpool. I'm gonna go Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. And big call, I think Man United are falling out of the top four. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to have a bad run of results. They play every team in the Big Six over the next 7 weeks. So if they don't go and pick up, let's say at least 12 of the 18 available points or 21 points available, 15 of 21, his job's gone. They're out of the race because Arsenal have a good run of fixtures. Brighton start having harder fixtures, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, they'll jump them. We're only 6 points off top of the table. I mean, I'm not going for miracles here, but you know, Leicester won the league.
Yeah, but you want to talk about records against the top six.
Hey, I mean, hey, look, I mean, under Arteta, we've actually beaten every coach you've put forward. We've beaten Pep once, so it's doing all right.
I love Arsenal fans, man. The positivity, it's great.
It's good at times. It gets quite, let's just say, sad at times as Arsenal fans.
Look, it's a bit of a toxic relationship sometimes there. But you know, I think in terms of the top four and the teams outside that, I think I've got nothing else to add. Anything that you guys wanted to add in particular? No.
All from me, really. No.
All right then. Go on, Abdul.
I was going to say Tottenham get better everywhere they go, but yeah, that's fine. Look, I was going to say it was a pleasure having you this week.
Yeah, thank you again.
No worries, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Love it. It was always good to chat some football, and good luck to both your teams for the rest of the season.
Good luck to you one as well, mate.
Well, thanks,
yeah, no, thank you, and thank you for everyone that's listening. Take care. We'll be back after the international break.